We are here at the official funeral site at Belvedere Lodge, where the late president's funeral is being conducted by the government. It has been quite all right. There's been a backlash, a back and forth, if I would say, between the government and the family, including the party where President Edgar Lungu served and the party that took him into office. However, we continue talking to different people who served under him just to give us highlights on how they wish to remember this man. Right about now, I am joined by Mr. Christopher Mulenga, who served as Deputy Minister of Defense, and he says he took over from Edgar Lungu when he became president. Mr. Mulenga, welcome to this interview.
Thank you very much, Mama.
Tell us how you remember the former president, and how you wish the Zambian people to remember the man.
The late President, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, was a colleague before and after he became president. He was the first to be appointed as deputy minister in the office of the vice president, and I was appointed as deputy minister in the Ministry of Health. Later I went to Youth and Sports, and then he ended up at the Ministry of Defense, taking over from him after he became Republican president.
You served closely with him. How would you describe his aura and just his humanity part, other than him being a politician?
A humble man, a good man. We worked well with him, even when I deputed his position. Because you remember, when he became president, he went with the position of Minister of Defense. So he appointed me in his place as his de facto minister. And I worked with him. You know, I was in charge of the entire Ministry of Defense. So I worked with him very, very well. I didn't face any problem. He was a person whom you would go to and give him an advice, and he would take it. And I would also remember him as a magnanimous person. A person who was brave. I remember very well when he signed that constitution, the 2016 Amendment Constitution. If you were there at the stadium, we said, I'm signing this with my eyes closed. He forgot about the hecklers, whoever we were talking, because there were a lot of talks, just as it is happening now. Those things were there even before. But he has to close his eyes and say, I'm not looking at that, I'm going to look at the country as a Zambian. And to make sure that we have this new constitution, because it's important. You can't run a country well when you don't have a proper constitution. So he signed that constitution using his bravery to sign that constitution despite all the talks and so forth. So for that, I will remember him very much. He was a humble man. When we were preparing him to be president, I was one of those that championed his roadmap to become president. And I was privileged actually to chair one of the hurdle committees. The Supreme Hurdle Committee was chaired by myself. I enjoyed working with him until 2016 when I left office. I didn't stand as an MP, so I left it there.
Thank you so much. Fond memories of him there by Mr. Christopher Mulenga, who served as Deputy Minister of Defense. And he best describes himself as a kingmaker, because he played an important role for the late president to be where he was in serving the Zambian people. However, we continue to talk to different people. And right about now, we are joined by Mr. Frank Bwalia, who also served closely with the former president, and he was also appointed as ambassador for our country, representing us abroad. Mr. Bwalia, welcome to this interview, and thank you so much for coming. Tell us about, briefly, your experience working with the man that we are mourning as a country today.
Well, one thing that I would say is that beyond every political personality, there is a human being. A human being with a family, a human being who has established relations with various people. President Lungu similarly could have been looked at as a politician, that political image. But behind him, there was a human being that some of us experienced closely and personally. And we can describe him simply as a good man, easygoing, very generous with his time, very generous in terms of accommodating some of our weaknesses as we worked with him. giving us enough time to learn and allowing us to do the job that he asked us to do.
At a level of national importance, this is the man that we had as the father of the nation, for lack of a better term, as the only surviving president. Now that he's gone, what does this loss mean to the nation?
It means a lot, because although we are not God to decide or determine when somebody should die, we think that in political terms, he has died young. He was only 68. Some of the presidents that we have lost were much older, including Dr. Kaunda, President Sata was much older, and President Rupia Banda. It was my prayer that President Lungu would live long enough to retire from active politics, become a statesman, become a unifying figure, become the chief advisor to our current president, and help working with President Hakainde Hichilema to continue uniting the country and developing it.
So different people from all walks of life, including diplomats, members of parliament, ministers, and genuinely interested political parties from the opposition are here signing the book of condolences, remembering the man that once served this country. Obviously, you are aware that there's been an issue on where the official funeral is. However, this is what government has set as a place of holding the funeral for the late president of this country who died in South Africa last week on Thursday. You know also that the Patriotic Front, a party in which the former president led, has been at loggerheads with the government with regards to where the official funeral should be held. However, people keep coming here as well as going to their party secretariat, where those that feel they can go that side and sign the book of condolences that side are doing just that. The traffic here was not so much compared to the other location. However, this is day 3 of the national mourning, and we have seen an improved number of people flocking in just to pen down those messages of condolences and fond memories of the late president. We will continue to track down this story and see to it that we bring you correct information from the government. Once again, the late president's body is expected to be in the country tomorrow on Wednesday, and thereafter we expect that the government will issue further guidance on what will pertain with regards to this matter.